What I find most astonishing, aside from that belief of mine, which never ceases to surprise me by the very fact of its surprising lack of unpleasantness, the belief that I might very easily, as they say, lose my mind one day. Not that I suspect I'm about to, or am even nearby.
Edward Albee's Delicate Balance portrays the life of an economically and socially well-established family living in the suburbs of 1960s America. The story itself is not the most action-packed. The main plot revolves around a visit from longtime friends, a quarrel between guests and family, a farewell, and a goodbye. Also, the entire play takes place exclusively within the residence, and the story concludes with yet another same peaceful day presented ahead of them. However placid the plot itself may be, I consider this story to be an adventure story. Not exactly the dragon-slaying type, but this journey is a psychological one. A psychological journey into unexplored territories of the human mind. To analyze this particularly ambiguous story, I drew inspiration from two opposing archetypal concepts known as the Apollonian and the Dionysian. These terms were first coined by Friedrich Nietzsche in his book The Birth of Tragedy, where he distinguishes Apollonian as a state of order, rationality, and logic, and the Dionysian representing chaos, intoxication, sexuality, and madness. This literary dichotomy has constantly been played in variation in numerous forms, taking the shape of the conflict between good and evil, light and dark, masculine and feminine, old and the young, and so on. It has been around for as long as humans existed, way before Nietzsche even conceptualized it into his own terminology. So the focus here isn't on demarcating what exactly is Apollonian and what is Dionysian, but rather that such duality exists in human psychology. My main interest concerning A Delicate Balance is that the story is an embodiment of a dialogue that takes place between the Apollonian and the Dionysian. The story also seems to suggest that these distinctive forces of nature are not as far apart from each other than we would like to think. When the play was first performed in 1966, America was in the middle of a wild sociocultural change. It was a time of redefining traditional values whilst witnessing the birth of new ones, and oftentimes this clash of values manifested in forms of violence. In Nietzsche's Dionysian point of view, this is the state of chaos, where, in the midst of conflict, a creative destruction and rebirth takes place. Agnes's family, however, was secluded altogether from the social backdrop. They were part of the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant culture, economically well established. They were safely cut off from the chaos of the outside world, peaceful within their residence, having the luxury to water their plants and enjoy fancy dinner tables. They had order. Their journey begins when Harry and Edna bring with them an existential anxiety from the outside world. This is when the family is challenged for the first time. Although it is never clarified the cause of Harry and Edna's trauma, it is hinted at in Harry's lines.
Scared. It was like being lost. Very young again, with the dark, and lost.
Harry talks as if there is some kind of familiarity between their anxiety and youth. Considering that the counterculture movement was predominantly driven by the younger generation, this connection seems to make sense. And for the first time, Agnes and family are experiencing the uncertainty and disarrangement that take its roots from the outside world. Apollonian order meets Dionysian chaos. We also see the manifestation of the Apollonian and Dionysian in individual characters. Agnes in her relationship with her sister Claire resembles the relationship between the Apollonian and Dionysian. Agnes asserts her position as the fulcrum of the house and cannot stand the mere thought of the family breaking apart, so she contains, with all her effort, anything that might set off a family feud and break down the delicate house of cards. On the opposite chair, we have Claire. She's willfully intoxicated, and while Agnes tries her best not to disturb the facade of peace, Claire develops no sensibility for such matter. She doesn't let tradition and prejudice get in her way. She can say whatever she wants to say.
Well, you don't look too bad for a quadruple amputee, I must say. That my nature is such as to bring out the full force of your brutality.
She's spontaneous and unpredictable, which are the polar opposite of what Agnes considers ideal. Agnes is the guardian of order, while Claire, the summoner of chaos.
You got me, sis.
However, an interesting twist takes place when we realize that throughout the play, Claire actually makes comments that hold some truth to the family's current situation. It is as though there is wisdom to be found when one willingly embraces the frenzy chaos. On the other hand, Agnes, her obsession for order has stifled her, slowly killing her from the inside. It is only when Agnes takes action, things change. She decides to take the risk of disturbing the peace by confronting the issues that she should have years ago, of Teddy, her dead son, and the speculation of her husband Tobias having cheated on her. Unlike her preconceived fear, this doesn't break the house apart. It's quite the contrary. She confronts Tobias. They talk about everything, their relationship, what to do with Harry and Edna, and how she will support whatever decision Tobias makes for the family. Once Agnes allows a little chaos inside her, new possibilities open as if chaos brought forth some kind of positive potential. Her journey into the dark side of her mind changed her. We can see her final line of the play is similar to her line in the very beginning, but with an added nuance of optimism.
Or that I'll not know if it happens, or maybe even has. What I find most astonishing, I think, is the wonder of daylight, of the sun. All the centuries, millenniums, all the history. I wonder if that's why we sleep at night, because the darkness still frightens us. They say we sleep to let the demons out, to let the mind go raving mad, our dreams and nightmares, all our logic gone awry, the dark side of our reason. And when the daylight comes again, comes order with it.
She acknowledges chaos will exist no matter what she does, and although darkness still frightens her, she'll learn to live with it, as she understands darkness is necessary for there to be light. So it's not about which side you're on, but the point is to reach for transcendence through equilibrium, between the Apollonian and Dionysian, between order and chaos, between light and darkness. Then can you finally achieve the true meaning of maintaining a delicate balance.